Hi Bindu.
Hello,
So
good to see
after
you,
our last
Kavisha.
video on branding that pretty much went viral like today we talk about something that all of us wonder but we hardly say it out loud. Why do people do that? Why do they behave a certain way? So
Wow.
to get into that, I thought maybe we can start with some fun questions and then get into some deeper ones.
Awesome. Sure.
Um,
Ready.
you have to be rapid, okay? First question. When you're stressed, what calms you instantly?
Chola Bhatura. Yeah, I love eating chola bhatura, and when I'm stressed, that's the only thing that makes me feel ah. But then, on a serious note, I just have one very powerful dialogue that I repeat in my mind, and that is, hey, you know what? This is the 10% of life. And right now, how I react will define the next 90%. So then,
Wow.
it just helps me calm down. It helps me like, okay, I'm gonna zip. I'm not gonna react right now. So that's the big change I've replaced with Chola Bhatura.
I'm going to try this the next time.
That.
Second, if you were an object in the supermarket, what would you be and why?
Okay, that's if I were the object in supermarket, I'll be a cash counter.
Oh, rich and abundance.
Rich, yeah, rich and abundance and in control. So I know what's reducing, what's increasing, and balancing it out. And yeah, cash counter sounds like it. But yes, if
Uh,
we were talking about the things, then maybe the spices, the spice corner, too much can burn your tongue. Too less will be too bland. So yeah, just in the right quantity to make things really tasty. Yeah.
nice. Um, this is a heavy one, huh? What is that one
Okay.
trigger that you have mastered?
Hmm. They there are a lot of triggers that I've mastered, but that one which I'm really proud of. It took me a lot of time comparatively to master that was when somebody spoke to me rudely or in a high volume, aggressive tone. Um, to start with, my journey started when anybody who talked to me like that, I would cry. Right? That was the start. And it would take me days to feel better and face that person again. The gyan that I got from my first manager was that, Bindu, even if you feel like crying, go out and cry. Don't just take a break instantly. But that was, I think, a lot of 20 years ago that I'm talking about. But um, I mastered that trigger by changing the internal dialogue, the memories that I had, and a lot of self work that I did. And now, if somebody is shouting at me, the question I ask myself inside is, what is the fear this person is operating from? Because it is not about me. So I've stopped personalizing it and I've started thinking about this person and feel, in fact, kind of bad for that person who's going through so many emotions. So yeah, the perspective changed, and this could be, the game changer for a lot of people. When somebody is shouting at you, being rude at you, it's actually very less times about you, it is about their fears. And if they're able to change that perspective, it helps relationships.
That was a very powerful answer, but it was not rapid. But I'll give it to you.
That's not fair. This is a deep question. Okay, I'll try to be rapid. Next.
This one is also a deeper one. What do you love about yourself?
Huh. What I love about myself is that I'm a very avid learner. And by learner, I don't mean only cognitive learning. but also a learner as in um, I work on myself a lot. So every time I go through a tough time or I make a mistake, I do a self introspection. And I think in last 15 years, I have completely changed the way I live my life. And a lot of people say that you're not only aware, but you have also changed your even from small things to big. So yeah, I think I'm very proud about that myself about that. I know this was not rapid, but that's
No, I heard somewhere that the day you stop learning about yourself and about the world, that is the day you actually die.
yeah. I somehow agree with that. Yes.
So, to the topic of today, why do people do that? I thought we'll start with the most everyday question. It comes to my mind a million times. Why do people overthink?
Hmm. Why do people overthink? So let's go to the root first. Where does thinking come from, Kavisha? Question to you. Uno reverse, as you say.
um,
Thinking happens where in the body?
uh, when I overthink, it is in my mind and
Mhm.
a bit of it in my gut also.
A bit of it in your gut.
Yeah.
Okay. So thinking as a process happens in the mind, right? In your brain.
Hmm.
There is the part of the brain called cognitive side, which is responsible for thinking. But you know what? Brain is primarily responsible to keep us safe, right? And the survival instinct comes very naturally to brain. Now, what happens is if there is any information that is incomplete, that is uncertain, that doesn't have a logical answer, our brain treats that as a fear to survival. And it starts getting into the processing of that information and what all can go wrong.
Yeah.
So, mostly, if you think overthinking happens in the negative trail,
No.
you will never think कि अच्छा इससे अच्छा और क्या हो सकता है इससे अच्छा और क्या हो सकता है that comes very rarely with very conscious thought process but an unconscious and by default thought process is अब क्या हो सकता है ये हो गया तो क्या होगा what will happen and all of that is a very natural functioning of our brain right unless you just all you need to do is just identify one anchor. So what I do is I just tap my head and say, shut up. And it works magic. People wear a band. First you identify when you are getting into that overthinking loop and just do something to break that loop because that's your brain thinking it's not you.
Yeah.
It's a by default machine under processing zone. And when your computer, for example, starts calculating stuff, if you have put a prompt in Chat GPT and it's giving you answer and you know that's not the right answer and it's going into details, what do? You
Stop.
stop it, right?
Yeah.
You stop
Yeah.
it, you close it. And that's exactly how you operate your brain. When you know that it is going into a loop which is overthinking, you need to have an external stimulus to just stop it.
Yeah.
Overthinking happens when brain wants to, and it becomes a habit to figure out what can go wrong, and you are in a more high fear zone most of the times. So, if you were to ask me how to deal with it, I would say practice and make your brain practice fearlessness, right? Practice abundance, practice gratitude. The more your brain is um, used to or get into the programming of thinking more positive side of things, thinking of gratitude, abundance in your life, you will see that your overthinking automatically shrinks. I don't know if that helps.
No,
It
it,
was
it
definitely
definitely
not
does.
rapid fire. I'm cheating this time. But then, yeah, your questions. Okay.
That was a good note to reflect on.
Mm-hmm.
My
Awesome.
last question, but this is a very crucial question.
Hmm.
Why do people choose hurtful things intentionally to say in an argument?
Okay. First of all, people have different ways to react, right? Um, and you will not be very happy with my answer saying that hurt people hurt people. You want to go deeper than that, right? So let me give you a logic to what I'm saying, okay? And not everybody says hurtful things. Some people choose to be quiet. Some people choose to uh, just let go, or some people choose to. But these are very few, less number of people.
Yeah,
Most of the times, um, when you are hurt, there is a immense amount of fear that your brain is going through. And these are all psychological fears. These are emotions that are taking that control over your brain. Okay? There's so many chemicals inside, and you need to let go of these chemicals, right? And that letting go of these chemicals, getting these out from your system, if you do not take the right measure at that point in time, that is, maybe have a glass of water, change of topic, deep breath, all of this we have learned. If you don't do that, that emotion, that chemical locha that's happening inside you, it ignites a part of you which is called amygdala, which is like your savior. Okay, it's like
yeah,
it will give you so much of energy that you want to blur it out. Now, psychologically, see, physically you can't hurt the person because instantly, agar physically you were given the choice that go ahead, kill the person, hurt the person, that'll be your first choice because that's what we were hunters. If somebody attacked us, we attacked them, right? That's self-defense. But because we can't physically punch them, then the natural second instinct is let's psychologically punch them.
yeah,
It's the it's again, it's not from the motive of hurting you, it's from the motive of self-defense and making you quiet so you don't say anything else that can hurt me more. Then there are many, many other loops to it, Kavisha. Some people do that because they feel the competition inside, right? Where they want to have a higher, what there are fears like fear of failure, fear of judgment, inner critic that is saying that, you know what, I can't let this person win this. That leads a person to just blur it out, and that's in the flow. They don't mean it. That's true, right? But their defense mechanism, if you hand over your, you give a prompt and hand over your entire physical, emotional well-being to Chat GPT, you don't know what it's going to come up with. And
yeah,
we have seen cases where even that comes up with a very, very harmful output, right? So treat brain just as a machine, and it can come up with some options which might not be good for you in the long run. So my suggestion would be that if we are aware, then let's at least understand that we don't get into that high emotion zone.
On that note, the next time if someone is doing a certain thing, I think it's safe to say that you can ask yourself, why do people do that? And change the story from what it is to what comes to your mind. And yeah, some reframing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. That wraps up the video. And if you have any questions about a certain traits or behaviors that you would like us to cover, please drop them in the comments. Until then, bye bye, Bindu. See you soon.
See you soon, Kavisha. I'm loving these questions. Thank you. Keep them coming.